What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another quarantine episode of Are You Serious? Today, we have a special guest, our school AD and administrator, Mr. Linot. Thank you for coming on the show, Mr. Linot. We're excited to have you. And so we just had a couple questions for you and to talk about this whole, coronavirus thing that has been going on and it's affected everybody. So my first one towards you is, uh, as an administrator, how has this affected you? Through not being able to go to school, in school sporting events, and then how has it affected you also as a sports
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. Um, I was trying to figure out, looking back to see whether I was supposed to start this with, "Are you serious?"
fan?
But the it's been difficult. It's been a trying time on figuring out. You know, I'm used to having something every evening that you got to go attend, and somebody you got to supervise, or somebody you got to tell, "Hey, that's enough," or
Mhm.
make sure that this is managed and that's managed, and it's been different for sure. um it's still business as usual kind of here in the office because I'm still working on trying to get together, finalize spring schedules for next year, and make sure that all that's done and completed, get contracts out, get officials hired, get all that stuff. The kind of the same as trying to shut down school in April or May any other time, but without sports on TV to occupy my brain as well. That's been difficult. I have
Mhm.
got my honeydew list has got a lot more on it, and I've had the opportunity to get some of that done. But I'm sure you guys know how that goes with you get more chores when you're quarantined.
I do happen to know that feeling. I do.
Uh,
Tristan, what do you got? Yeah.
my first question for you is if Corona lasts into next school year, what will they do with the fall sports? Would they just push it back as far as possible or cancel it? Like, what do you think?
uh, that's that's one of those things I really don't want to think about.
Mhm.
If you get another, it's bad enough losing 2 months basically of sports here in the springtime, or a little over 2 months sometimes. But if you start looking at going through all of that time, all of summer, and then starting into the fall, it's going to get hard to get excited about going to school.
Yeah.
But I know from a lot of kids' standpoint that that's something that drives them. That's something that keeps them motivated to attend school or to be here. And a big part of
Mhm.
the responsibility and social learning that takes place is that team concept and that ability to hang out with your friends, work on skills, and work on playing a game that you love. Um, I would. We've talked a little bit about it as a league, and it's the scary part is that the revenue also that's generated with that. It. I'll be honest with you guys that high school is a lot like college and everywhere else. That the people that we draw in for football games and the gate that we receive for football games pays a lot of the bills throughout the year. I mean, it's whether we can pay track entry fees, whether we can pay cross country entry fees, Scholars Bowl entry fees, everything else is based a lot on those football gates. So, I mean, from our standpoint, I feel like we got to have some type of fall sports. Now, if that gets, how far that goes or how far this
Right.
issue pushes you back, then what do you do? Because you can't, the crossing over, it's kind of like the everybody's looking at on in the major leagues and stuff. If you push baseball back or push the start of football back, then how much does it affect the next sport or the next sport? Same way with college. If you push college back, then how does that affect the start of the next sport?
Absolutely. And you definitely, hope for the best on that. But next, all of us, I think almost everybody that as a student, I know I'm sure a lot of teachers too and other people that work, we have a lot of time off right now. And it's like, I don't even know what I do with all this time off because I usually haven't ever had this type of time off this early. So I know us and you always, we should be going to school, but with not having school or spring sports, how do you fill that void? Like, are you still going to work, or how do you fill that void yourself?
Yeah, I'm actually still coming in every day and trying to finalize things for the year and wrap everything up. So I'm still working on a lot of that stuff. The good news, I guess, from my standpoint, is that I used to have to do a lot of that stuff after I got home at night, or on nights I didn't have games. I was doing some of that at home, but now without having to go set up for soccer, without having to attend the other evening activities, I've got time to do that during the actual school day. So some of that's getting done. I was on the tractor for like 4 hours the other day working ground, and and I've tried to go fishing once. So just trying to do some things to take my mind off of everything else that's going on. What are you guys doing?
I tell you what, saying it's about the same thing every day. For me, it's wake up, work out, eat, and I started DoorDash. I started doing DoorDash to get some extra money, and that's been going well. So it's about the same thing every single day. Same three things probably about, and get the schoolwork done here when I get the time to do that. So
good thing you threw that in.
I've been working on a lot of that. I know that comp final finally started that.
Yep, research essay.
Got that going. A lot of video games. It's like too much at this point. It's really getting so boring playing them now.
How is the online learning?
It's different. It's different for me. I mean, I'd rather go to school. I mean, online learning isn't for me. I like hands-on. I like being able to, hear it and see how to do things in person. But I mean, you got to make it work. So
yeah, it's about a lot of adapting right now at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
I've learned more about. I'm sorry. I've learned more about these Zoom meetings than I ever knew.
That's true. I never heard of them until this year now. So Mr. Browning requested that we ask about senior athletic awards as well, and like what are they going to do with that?
We have talked about those. The difficulty that we're running into is how do you decide somebody that was in spring sports and didn't have that opportunity to put stats and get accolades? How do you compare them to fall and winter sports? And I think we're going to do something. It's trying to figure out how and when to do it. I mean, does it do them justice if you're announcing it on a school messenger thing, or does it, it's kind of a tough time right now on how to figure out how to present it. And then, from you guys' standpoint, one of my questions is if we do it in the fall at some point when we come back to school, have you guys moved on, and is it something that you can even attend and all of those things? So I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I would think that if you're looking for the best way to announce it, in my opinion, it probably, since we obviously can't do it in person, maybe like a video. If you guys made a video and posted it on social media instead of just like a messenger sending it out. But I think in this situation, you try to find the most exciting, way for people to find that out, because it's a big award, and usually we do it in an auditorium, don't we?
Yeah, we usually do it at that Renaissance now.
Right. So trying to find a way to like get it to that point, but you won't, but you can still reach a pretty big audience on social media nowadays. So I'm not sure, but I think something like that probably would be cool.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And that's it's one of the things. It's a whole different process to go about it. Normally we'd meet for one day, everybody'd sit in there and we'd talk about each kid, and we'd do our voting and all that, and then basically they'd send me write-ups, and I'd put everything together on what to say on that Renaissance deal. Now
Right.
now it's a little tougher when you're trying to meet over Zoom.
Yeah. Yes, for sure, for sure. But I think that is all we have for you, Mr. Linot. We really appreciate you coming on the show today. It was awesome to have a guest. We're gonna keep trying to have some more guests. Now it's easier for you guys to join over Zoom. But once again, thank you for coming on today. And everybody have a happy Friday. Have a good weekend, and we will see you guys on Tuesday. See you guys later.